Hi everyone, it's 12th of October over here. Markets have been crashing over the last 2 days. Can we really say it's a crash? It's hard to decide over here, but let's take a look at some market updates, which I've been missing for a while, and let's do a catch up over here and see what we can prepare ourselves for the market to open tonight. Now, so I just want to share with all of you a little bit about our market updates in this video over here. And at the same time also to highlight what we should be looking out for, and what do you want to know about the markets before you go out there and start establishing new trades into your investment portfolios. Right, now let's begin over here and have a look. So I just want to take you quickly to the charts over here because I just want to highlight a little bit on what the recent down move has pretty much been about. Now if you look at the screen right here, we had the sell-off beginning 2 days ago, and we had the S&P fall right about 40 points over here at about midnight in Singapore. And at that point of time, the sell-off was still pretty much restricted to the big market caps in technologies, which is pretty much still the FANG stocks, which I mentioned in earlier videos, together with the financial stocks, because these stocks and this bulk of stocks over here cover almost $5 trillion in market cap. So when these two sectors move in tandem, right, what it's going to do is going to affect the whole S&P movement as a whole. So when we see the S&P down by about 40 points, the interesting thing that I noted on the day was it was only still the tech sector as well as the financial sectors that were down for the day. And you will actually see that a lot of consumer staples and defensive stocks and defensive sectors over here were still pretty much in the green and up for the day. Now, but what subsequently happened was, I think someone spooked the market, and probably we have these market high frequency trading softwares and algorithms out there that decided somewhere where they don't want a whole market risk overnight. And you can see over here towards the market close, the sell-off started to begin, and it went all the way into closing, and the market closed pretty much at its low of the day. Now, and then we had a little bit of a brief over here when the market bounced higher yesterday, but I think pretty much things have not stabilized. There was a lack of bit of good news or stabilizing news in the market itself. So pretty much nobody still wants to hold position in this kind of unsettled market. And this is also caused volatility to spike during these two periods. Now, if you are an option seller like our community are, these are some of the best times to start loading your portfolios, but making sure that you look for the best trades out there, right, to capture those premiums, which are really rich right now. But if you're not one of us over here, do really watch out how you establish and how you go into your trades and positions, because we're not sure how the market will stabilize. But there are some things to note for over here. As you can see, this was yesterday market sell-off, and what is really happening right now is in the markets we have what we call a total correlation, right, which we did not have in a couple of weeks before. Right now, so this is what I mean over here when you look at my PowerPoint over here about total correlation. So what I'm doing over here is I'm pulling out the S&P 500 index. Now this is courtesy of TD Ameritrade software. I'm just pulling out a screenshot from their platform over here, and you can see that for the S&P 500 we had almost 466 counters out of that 500 stocks that were pretty much down for yesterday's markets. Now, so this correlation is pretty much driving the market down because all sectors across the board are having stocks that are down for the day itself on the index itself. Now the day before we had pretty much almost the same thing. Almost 500 stocks out of 500 were also down for the day itself. Now, so moving forward over here, what you really want to see is we have stopped seeing in the last 2 days money moving across different sectors over here, right? And we also stopped seeing the part whereby money is moving out of the risky sectors and into the safety sectors, because we are in a total sell mode right now. And when the market goes into a total sell mode, nothing really stops its path at the moment until there's some stabilizing factor. So this was spooked 2 days ago, and like I mentioned just now, it started off with big tech and then financials, and it spilled over to the closing of 2 days ago over here and continued pretty much yesterday. Now, going into that over here, tonight's market will be interesting because it's expiry Friday again, and there are earnings that are kicking off today. And one more specific thing over here to note of is the banks are announcing their earnings. We have JP Morgan, we have Citibank or Citigroup, and then we have Wells Fargo, who are all due to schedule to announce their earnings later today. And if they are going to be good news over here, it's going to pretty much prop up the markets. But if they're going to miss estimates, it's pretty much going to lead to another round of a sell-off over here. Now, so this will be pretty interesting going into the markets tonight. There is also, like I mentioned earlier, a change in correlation of the overall market from a totally uncorrelated market to pretty much of a full correlation right now that we're seeing across the index as a whole. Now, so watch on your risk of your portfolio over here. If you're too exposed or totally exposed and you're not keeping enough cash, this is not the right move right now, because there are a lot of opportunities with the volatility spiking up right now. Now, so this is a stance whereby, you know, our Impossible Investors community know this really well. You need to be invested, because when you're invested, your money is growing, right? But at the same time, you need to ensure that you're liquid as well. All right, now, so how do you want to do this over here? This is pretty much something that's proprietary to our Impossible community, right? And we share this a lot with our community and keep them safe itself over here as well. In fact, tonight is Expiry Friday, and I'll actually be running a live session with my community members, teach them how to handle Expiry Fridays. This is pretty much something we do that is really different in our community as we set ourselves apart from the others out there. Now, that's all for my market update today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in our next market update as well. And also, soon I'll be starting a series of informational videos to kind of highlight why, you know, our basket of stocks. Those of you who have met me, you know that I have an impossible list of stocks over here that my community works with very specifically over here. So I'm going to start highlighting a video series comparing our impossible stocks to categories like growth stocks, value stocks, and, you know, other categories over here. Now, so if you'd like to find out more, or like me to compare my list of stocks to any other categories that you have out there, like REITs and ETFs and stuff like that, do leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do and prepare those videos up as well. All right, now that's all for today's session. Have a good Friday over here, and TGIF to you. All right, see ya.